Father, I know I should love the Rosary, but I am struggling. Don't worry, I got you. Hey, I'm Father Mark Mary with Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, and this is Ascension Presents. We're going to go ahead and take a look at 3 root causes that can lead to a real struggle with the Rosary. If you've been praying the Rosary your whole life and you're really rocking it, this is still for you. The first common cause is not taking the time to actually connect. The second is that you have been told to pray the Rosary, but not taught how to pray the Rosary. And the third is trying to do too much too fast. So number 1, not taking the time to connect. And this is something that's a common struggle, not just with the Rosary, but with prayer in general. Like, we just want to get into it. We want to get after it. Essentially, like, we want to play the game or the sport without stretching. And what can happen is it can lead us to saying prayers without maybe actually praying. I think if we're honest, sometimes as we are trying to pray the Rosary, it can feel like we are talking to ourselves. It can feel like we're on the phone and no one's on the other line. We're just in our room, walking on the train, whatever it is, saying the prayers, but there's not connection to God. And so it can be kind of rote mechanical repetition without relationship. Second common struggle is that we've been told to pray the Rosary, but not taught how, right? All over the place. We are told and reminded, rightly so, that praying the Rosary is awesome and really important and really great to do every day. And maybe somebody tells you that and they even give you a pamphlet. And so you have access to, like, if you will, the body of the Rosary, the form, like what you're supposed to be doing. But the soul of praying the Rosary is the contemplation, it's the relationship, and it's also knowing, like, what's happening. What is happening? What does the Hail Mary mean? The Our Father, the Glory Be. What kind of prayer is it? What does glory be to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? Like, what does that actually mean, right? And also you have a list of mysteries. Okay, the 4th joyful mystery, the presentation of Jesus in the temple. Okay, what does that mean? Because I'm supposed to be reflecting on it and praying about it. I don't really know what's happening. I don't know what its spiritual implications are. And so I'm kind of struggling. And so if we've been told to pray the Rosary, but not taught, it can leave us in this place of like insecurity. Like, it seems like everybody else knows what to do and I don't. So I can feel like there's something broken with me. Or it can lack like meaning and therefore value and therefore attraction. The last core struggle before we get into sort of the solutions is trying to do too much too fast. And I think this might make people a little bit uncomfortable and it could be feel as like controversial. So when I was 18 and I had my All In for Jesus conversion, I was taught that like praying the Rosary every day is super important. And so I tried to do it. But to be honest, like, I didn't have the capacity to at one time pray sort of the whole Rosary at once. Definitely couldn't do it like not just one day, but every single day. And so I tried to do it, but there's a huge sacrifice. And I rushed through it and it became a thing of like mechanical repetition. It became something of like a checklist I had to check off. And what it led me to is really kind of struggling with and not loving the Rosary. If I'm honest, what was really happening is I was trying to get through the Rosary, say the Rosary, to assuage my own conscience, to make me feel better about myself and my sort of standing as a good Christian. If you do the things, you check the list, then you're going to be in good standing. My brothers and sisters, I think we all know that that's not what the Rosary is about, and that's not who God is. The Rosary is about knowing God and loving God and allowing Him to love us as well. It's not a performance thing, it's a love thing. Okay, now to the solutions. Number 1, I'm struggling connecting. Slow down. Slow down. Take some time to breathe. We're going to develop this habit of practicing the presence of God, of placing ourselves in the presence of God. This can be done through the imagination, or this can be done having an image of the Lord or of Our Lady that you love. Like, we really want to just slow down and take the time to connect. Number 2, we're going to go back to some of these most common prayers and staples of our faith, but like, let's look at them with fresh eyes. Let's allow the Lord in the mysteries of our salvation, with the help of Our Lady, to evangelize ourselves anew. Number 3, in all humility and confidence in God, pray as you can, not as you can't. Be okay with taking your time. Like, we want to build up to being able to pray the full Rosary all at once, but if you're not there yet, you're not there yet. And that's okay. And it's okay to pray as you can and to love the Lord with all of your strength. And maybe your strength today is 3 Hail Marys. And that's what you can really pray well with focus and attention and contemplation. Maybe it's a decade, maybe it's 2 decades. But in humility, which is rooted in the truth of where you're at, and who God is, like, be okay again with just praying as you can not as you can't, to be where you are, and then we're going to build from there. Finally, you've made it to the big announcement. With the help of all of my friends here at Ascension, we have created the Rosary in a Year podcast. The Rosary in a Year podcast, which can begin in full January 1st, 2025. It's going to go for the whole year. And it's going to be addressing some of these common struggles with the Rosary. And it's going to be this opportunity to build up our prayer muscle, to actually build up our capacity for prayer. So with the team at Ascension, we put together this plan, if you will, or this exercise plan of prayer, where we're going to begin with learning how to and practicing encountering God, actually connecting, particularly with the persons of Jesus, and then with Mary, as we are saying and praying in the Rosary. Secondly, we're going to really go deep into these foundational prayers and mysteries of our faith. What does the Hail Mary actually mean in its different parts? The Our Father, the Glory Be. Also, we're going to go through looking at the mysteries, like what's literally happening, what's it spiritually mean, etc. And then also, we're going to learn how to pray with it. Okay, here's what it means. Now here's how I pray with it. So it's going to be a catechesis on the truths, but also, again, a catechesis on how to actually pray so that we ourselves can be newly evangelized by these most foundational truths of our faith, the good news of our faith. And then thirdly, we're going to offer this plan where we can start small and then build up. At the end of the Rosary in a Year, we're going to be praying the full Rosary together. But we're going to start small. Each episode is going to have catechesis and then an opportunity to pray with what we just talked about. But to allow what we have talked about and the graces offered into it to really sink in and take hold in our hearts, in our imaginations, we're going to begin moving slowly. Our Father, 3 Hail Marys, Glory Be. Then we're going to extend. Slowly we're going to move to 1 decade, and then 2 decades, and then 3, until again, at the end of the year, we're going to be praying the whole Rosary together. Brothers and sisters, again, the aim of the Rosary in a Year podcast is not just for us to be praying the Rosary as soon as possible, as quick as possible. It's to fall in love. It's to fall in love with the Lord who loves us, to fall in love again with Our Lady who loves us, and to fall in love with the Rosary, which is this privileged place of entry into relationship with Jesus, with the Most Holy Trinity, with Our Lady, and the mysteries of our faith. Myself, I've been a religious for over 15 years, and I said yes to this because it was an area in my own life that I wanted to be renewed. You know, great athletes, they still go back to the fundamentals again and again and again. And my brothers and sisters, this is going to be a support for those who are just beginning, those who have tried the Rosary and are really struggling, but also those who love the Rosary and just want to keep going deeper in it. Friends, I've already been working through the content of the Rosary in a Year podcast. It's already been a profound and authentic, I'm being sincere, a profound source of grace and of insight for me, and I'm learning a lot, and it's really, really bringing me deeper in my own prayer life. So I have total confidence that it will be a profound source of grace for you as well. My brothers and sisters, I look forward to journeying with you soon with the Rosary in a Year podcast. Remember, we are pilgrims on this earth, somos peregrinos, poco a poco, little by little, vamos a llegar. We're going to make it.